Today on the Metal Roofing channel, we are talking about some of the options, techniques, and problems when it comes to installing a new metal roof over an existing shingle roof. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Metal Roofing channel. I'm Thad Barnett. Subscribe if you're new here. We release metal roofing and metal construction content every Monday and Wednesday. Well, today we're taking a look at how to install metal roofing over an existing shingle roof. We've got a couple different assemblies we're going to be showing you. Number one, metal directly over the shingles with a layer of underlayment. And number two, we're going to be using some fan fold insulation. Now, if you want to see a Q&A episode covering metal over shingle, you can check that out right here. Keep watching this video if you want to see actual practical demonstrations. We've already got this section of the roof dried in using shark skin comp. We just got it tacked in for demonstration purposes. And that's the key throughout this video. It's just for demonstration purposes to give you a couple different options and show you some problems that can occur when installing over an existing shingle roof and how to solve some of those problems as well. All right, so I have Jeff Hock, Technical Director for Sheffield Metals with me. Jeff, our first assembly that we're gonna be talking about is metal directly over the shingles with a layer of underlayment. So why do we have a layer of underlayment here?
So the main reason you have a layer of underlayment is you're gonna create a separation barrier between the back of the panels and the shingles themselves. If you go directly over the shingles, the granules in the shingles can take and scratch the paint, and that can cause issues with rusting and things like that down the road.
Okay, so we have 1.5 inch snap lock panels, so let's talk about how we are actually going to install these panels.
So again, we're doing this strictly for demonstration purposes, so we're not going to be boxing panels. We aren't going to be putting any trim down. We're just going to basically be attaching the panels with the clips, showing how it goes down, seeing if there's any issues with the attachment when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
One thing about installing over existing shingles is that you don't have any control over what your deck looks like. Shingles can be uneven, so we'll give you some examples of what that looks like installing directly over a shingle with a metal panel. All
right, so let's put some panels on the roof and then we can talk about the problems and issues that we come across.
Sounds good. We just got done throwing some roof panels up here. Again, this is just a demonstration. Clips are randomly spaced. There's about 5 clips per panel just to keep it attached. We got a screw at the top to hold them in place. So a couple things we've noticed as we've been installing it. Again, we have the separation layer over the shingles, and we put the panels down like I just described. Standing up here looking down at it, the roof looks great. I mean, you can't see anything. You get off the roof and you look up at it, this thing is oil cannon like nobody's business. And there's a couple reasons for that. One, the deck is not even, flat out. I mean, it's an older roof, things have settled, and the roof does have waves in it. Two, you can see that some of the clips are even on the deck, some of the clips are up because, that's where the shingles are, and that's how they fall. And those are creating stress points on the panel as well. Another thing with this is that the panels don't have any structure in them whatsoever. They're completely flat. They don't even have clip relief. So at a couple spots from pushing the panels down or walking up the panels as we were going, we've been pressing the panels down around the screw heads of the clip fasteners, and now we have a dimple in our panel. There's a couple things we could do to minimize the oil canning portion of this. We could have clip relief in it, obviously. Probably the main thing that we could do is have striations in the panel, and that would probably help minimize the appearance of the oil canning a lot. But with the flat panel, you can really see that this panel is going to take the shape of whatever it is that you're installing it over. So if your deck is not level and it's not in plane and it does not have perfectly smooth flat surface, you're going to get the inconsistencies that are in your deck, and it's going to telegraph right through to the panel. So during this installation, there's a couple things that we did on purpose. Number one, we used a darker color roof panel. It's going to highlight oil canning more than, say, a lighter color roof panel is. Number two, right here where this second panel meets, there's a hump in the roof. And we intentionally did this area, and from your point of view, this might not look too bad in this area because it's pushing out some of the stress points, but as it catches up with the rest of the roof, it's going to have to, make up for that somewhere along the lines of the installation.
So these panels, just to illustrate, these are perfectly flat panels on the ground, but as soon as we put them up on this roof, on the wavy roof deck, over the shingles, and especially over this portion of the roof deck, you can really start to see the oil canning. Even before the clips were in place, you could start to see the oil canning. And then once we started installing, putting the clips down into place, it really started to show through, and you're gonna definitely be able to see this. So next, for our second assembly, we're gonna keep moving down and go over fan fold insulation. We'll see if that makes a difference with the oil canning, see what other kind of problems come up, and see if we can fix those. So for our second assembly, we have metal panel, fan fold insulation, underlayment over the existing shingles. Why is the insulation here?
So the insulation's here. This is 1/4 inch by 4 foot wide by 50 foot long fan fold insulation. The idea behind it is it will hopefully help smooth out the roof deck. It didn't help a lot with the oil canning, as we can tell, but you know, the main idea behind it is that hopefully that as the panel heats up, this insulation will help stop some of the heat transfer down to the shingles. So as the roof cools off, the shingles won't retain as much heat, you know, and therefore, you know, not heating up your house as bad, you know, and not losing any more of the cool roofing properties that you get from metal.
Yeah, and you were pointing out to me, like, even just putting my hand like in the sunny portion of the shark skin comp underlayment and putting my hand on the insulation, there's a big difference as far as temperature there.
Yeah, no doubt. And if we were going to use this insulation, probably wouldn't end up drying in the roof either, because the insulation would act as a separation barrier between the granulated shingles and the back of the panel. So there really be no reason to have the drying underneath it.
Okay, so if you're gonna do this method, it'd just be panel insulation over existing shingles.
Correct. You know, some people tape the seams of the insulation and things like that, but again, the main purpose here is to help stop some of the heat transfer and to create a separation barrier between the shingles and the back of the metal roof panels themselves.
And we're gonna be doing a video in the future and take actual temperature readings of different roof assemblies, metal over regular plywood substrate, metal over shingles, and metal over shingles with this insulation board, and see what those temperature readings actually are.
The two assemblies that we did today are just two ways that you can roof over a shingle roof. You know, one of the ones that we didn't do is over battens. You know, it's real popular. I think you'll get a lot of the same oil canning problems that you have with roofing over shingles, because you're not fixing any problems with the deck substrate. So any voids or valleys or dips or peaks, any irregularities in your deck that 1x4 or whatever it is you're using for a furring strip is still going to follow the decking itself. And that's what really causes the oil canning, is not having a smooth flat surface to put these panels on. Again, we used flat panels without any type of structure, any type of clip relief, anything like that, to basically show the maximum amount of oil canning that we can, and the reasons why it happens. We always recommend striations when we do metal roofs. It looks good. It alleviates the appearance of a lot of oil canning. It really gives a lot of forgiveness for uneven substrates. That being said, everything that we've done here is just for display purposes. This doesn't have any engineering involved with it. Things are tacked in place just to show them. So, you know, this isn't a two-code installation by any stretch. So as long as we got that out there, and this is just showing examples of different ways that you can roof over shingles. So given the installations that we've talked about, Sheffield always recommends ripping the shingles off and putting the metal panels direct to deck. Couple reasons for it. One, if there's any problems with your substrate, your plywood, anything's rotted, things like that, you can replace that plywood. You're buying a brand new expensive metal roof. You want to make sure what you're putting it over is going to be just as up to par as the roof that you're putting on top of it. Two, if there's any irregularities in the roof, you can try to have them corrected to, again, help minimize oil canning as the panels go on. And three, you know, especially if your roof is leaking and you have an existing shingle roof, you'll have a brand new dry-in. So, you know, all the products that you're going to have from your plywood up are going to be inspected. You're going to make sure they're in good shape, and you're going to get the longest life out of the new metal roof that you're putting on your house or building.
We are going to be taking a look at the rest of Adam's roof really soon. We're going to be doing a complete standing seam metal roof installation video, not just how to install panels and different assemblies, but from start to finish. how to install an entire standing seam metal roof when it comes to flashings, ridge vent details, the whole 9 yards. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe here to the Metal Roofing channel for that. Comment down below if you have any questions about our topic today or any other topics you want us to cover in the future. As always, I'm Thad Barnett. We'll catch you next time.